Thank you for coming to the virtual sekitei Tenpachido Hall, home to kodan storyteller Kyoto Nanshin. Tonight's kodan time travels back to the Bakumatsu Period, when Katsura Kogoro escapes Kyoto and hides out in the country of Tajima. Please enjoy the kodan Izushi and Katsura Kogoro. One of the three great nobles of the Meiji Restoration, Katsura Kogoro, was a wanted man by the shogunate government. But no matter how hard they chased after him, Kogoro was always able to escape. Whether he was a clever man or whether he was a lucky one, it's a very interesting story, so I've made a kodan about it. Our story begins on June 5th, 1864 in Kyoto. June in the old Japanese calendar is the same as July in the present-day calendar, so very hot. On this very hot day, at a house next to the Takase River in Kiyamachi, Choshu clan samurai Katsura Kogoro starts to leave, with former geisha Ikumatsu seeing him off. It's so hot, Umatsu. Yes, it is. The time around the Gion festival is always the hottest. Well, today I'm going down the road to Ikedaya to speak to some men from different domains. I will be getting home a little late, so go to bed without me. After saying so, he leaves. He heads a little south, turns the corner at Sanjo Street, and arrives at an inn called Ikedaya. The very tall Kogoro bows over as he brushes the noren to the side. The owner, Sobe, sits at reception. Mr. Katsura, so nice to see you, but you've gotten here a little early. Has everyone gathered yet? Actually, I haven't seen anyone yet. Oh, I have gotten here too early, haven't I? I'll come again. Kogoro glides out the front door. He thinks he will go to the Choshu clan residence to meet with his colleagues, but then, wait a minute. The Tsushima clan residence is just over there. I have so many friends there, and it's much closer to Ikedaya than the Choshu clan residence is. I think I'll stop by. And so he walks a short distance down Kawaramachi Street right up to the entrance to the Tsushima clan residence. Excuse me, please. When he says so, the gatekeeper comes out. Oh, Mr. Katsura, what business do you have? I was wondering if Mr. Oshima was in. Yes, he is. Just a second. Oshima is the senior statesman of the Tsushima clan called Oshima Tomonojo. He is 7 years older than Kogoro. After Kogoro lent his help to Oshima during a succession dispute in the Tsushima clan, the two men became like brothers. It is this Oshima that comes to meet Kogoro at the front door. My, is it not Katsura? How have you been? Come in. Thanks. They go to a room and sit down. Katsura, the forces of Aizu Kuwana and the Shinsengumi have been really tightening their control over Kyoto. They're being really tyrannical, aren't they? It makes me so angry. As they pass the time talking, oh, it's gotten really dark outside. Do you know what time it is? Well, the bell tolled just a while ago, so it must be about 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock! Actually, I had a meeting at the Ikedaya. I'm late. I need to go. As Kogoro grabs his sword and stands up, from across the garden outside, hey! A very loud yell, followed by many loud voices. What's going on out there? Oshima stands up and opens a sliding door. Beyond the enclosure wall of the Tsushima clan residence, bang, bang, as loud banging noises can now be heard. It's coming from the second floor of that building over there. Isn't that the second floor of Ikedaya? What's going on? Maybe some drunkards have started fighting? But then somebody calls out, Torya! And then the clang, clang of metal. Kogoro is shocked. No, my colleagues are in trouble. I have to go help them. Wait, Katsura. This is no mere drunken fight. Let me send someone to check it out. Hey, is there anyone there? Two men answer the call. After a few minutes, they come back. Lord Oshima, the Shinsengumi of Aizu have just attacked Ikedaya. There seems to be many casualties. What? Many Choshu clansmen were also there. This is very bad. But not only that, Katsura. If you had gone to Ikedaya just a little later, or you had not come here but went to go meet your colleagues at the Choshu clan residence, you would not be alive right now. Actually, this is the famous Ikedaya Incident, an assault by the Shinsengumi. Katsura Kogoro is a very lucky man. As a result of the Ikedaya Incident, 7 men from Choshu are cut down or later caught and executed. This news soon arrives in Choshu. Kusaka Genzui, Takasugi Shinsaku, and other who's who of the Choshu clan gather together at the domain headquarters to hotly debate the issue. Kusaka Genzui. The Mikado is being betrayed. We need to attack the forces of Hitotsubashi, Aizu, and Kuwana immediately. But Takasugi Shinsaku, on the other hand, just wait a minute, Genzui. Yeah, I agree that we need to attack Aizu and Kuwana, but to wage war in Kyoto would be like shooting an arrow straight at the Mikado. Can't you just wait for the right time? If we wait any longer, the shogunate forces will only get stronger. The 3 ministers, Fukuhara Echigo, Masada Echu, and Kunishi Shinano, have all agreed. The time is now. He bravely leaves Choshu with an army. His forces gather at Tenno-zan, ready to surround Kyoto. When he hears this, Katsura Kogoro rushes to Tenno-zan to speak to Genzui. Genzui, what are you doing? You're looking like you're busy starting a war. You're even wearing armor and headgear. Are you really going to attack Kyoto? Mr. Katsura, I'm tired of the tyranny of Hitotsubashi, Aizu, and Kuwana. Just as we speak, Choshu forces are gathering at the residence in Fushimi and at Saga's Tenryuji. Everyone is eager to cut off Hitotsubashi's head. Genzui, we used to be schoolmates at Yoshida Shoin's Shokason School, don't you remember? For that, I will not hold anything back from you. You need to call off this war. Why, Mr. Katsura? You want me to cower away like a dog with his tail in between his legs? Look, the forces of Satsuma, Echizen, and Kurume are all in the capital right now. We don't know who they'll side with. I'm trying to get Kurume and Totori on our side. For now. Can't you just cool it? No, of course not. My mind is made up. The forces will advance as planned. On July 9th, Choshu's main forces are west of the Imperial Palace at the Hamaguri Gate, Genzui's forces to the south at the Sakaimachi Gate, lined up for battle. Katsura Kogoro does not join these forces, but instead goes to the residence of Arisugawa on the Kamo River. Protecting the residence are the troops of the Totori clan, the warriors lined up in front of the gate. The person in charge is Kawara Sakuma, good friends with Katsura Kogoro and a follower of the Sono Joy movement. Hey, is Mr. Kawara there? Oh, is it Mr. Katsura? Hey you guys, lower your weapons. Mr. Kawara, the battle is finally started. If Choshu loses, there will be no Sono nor Joy left to follow. The shogunate's punishment will be swift. Please, let me borrow Totori's troops to fight them. How can you say that you revere the Mikado when you are attacking the Imperial Palace with the Mikado inside? Choshu is on the wrong side. What? No, that's not right. We're attacking the forces of Aizu and Kuwana who have the Mikado hostage. Mr. Katsura, what kind of an excuse is that? Choshu is firing their rifles directly at the Mikado. No. The Totori clan will not support enemies to the throne. As the two men argue, from the Imperial Palace, some of Choshu's wounded warriors run in their direction. Hey you guys, what happened? You're hurt very bad. Mr. Katsura, Satsuma betrayed us. They sided with Aizu and shot cannon at us. What about Genzui? Mr. Kusaka, he retreated to the residence of Chief Advisor Takatsukasa. After turning in a letter appealing Choshu's innocence, he... No! Genzui! You're too soon! Men, run away! Let's live to fight another day! But then, over there, Choshu scum! Get them! The enemy closes in for the attack. Without pause, Kogoro also pulls out his sword, ready for the fight. Kogoro and the Choshu men fight with all of their strength. Using his skills in Shinto Munen, Kogoro swings his sword down, taking out a man in front of him. But then more enemy troops of the shogun join in and point their rifles straight at Kogoro and the remaining Choshu men. Mr. Katsura, run! Choshu is counting on you! And with that, the remaining Choshu warriors run towards the enemy. Bang, bang, the rifles fire. Damn it! I promise I'll survive to overthrow the shogunate. Kogoro runs to the riverside of the Kamo River and disappears. After this, the Hamaguri Rebellion is over, and Kogoro is seen by no one. A month later, a beggar is sleeping in front of the gate of the Tsushima clan residence. The gatekeeper tries to shoo him away, but he doesn't move. A young warrior grabs his arm. Hey, you can't sleep here. Oh, your kimono is all tattered and your face and hands are covered in dirt. Oh, you even stink. Come on, you bum. Get out of here. He tries to pull him, but then, I am Katsura Kogoro from Choshu. What? Mr. Katsura! Shh. Shinsengumi's troops are still lurking about. I can be found under the Sanjo Bridge. Please tell Mr. Oshima where I'm at. He rolls up a dirty grass mat and with a shuffle, shuffle, he shuffles off. Oshima Tomonojo hears the news from the young warrior and rushes to the Sanjo riverside. Under the bridge, among several cowering beggars, one man stands up and waves. Katsura, I'm so glad to know that you're safe. Hey, Mr. Oshima. I'm pretty good at getting myself out of a pinch. But now Kyoto is crawling with Shinsengumi and Aizu troops looking to pick off runaway warriors. And so I traded my kimono with the beggars and been hanging out here. Katsura, you need to come with me. But you can't come looking like that. I've brought a change of clothes here. You can change into a commoner. When Kogoro nods, he washes his hands and face in the Kamo River. When he is clean, he puts on a striped kimono and spats. Perfect for a commoner. Here, put this handkerchief on your head. Now roll out your bag, just like that. And now carry this bag on your back. You certainly look the part. Commoner Kogoro walks behind Oshima, bobbing about. With no one the wiser, Kogoro safely makes it to the Tsushima clan residence. Mr. Oshima, thanks to you I can finally relax. But now I won't be able to ever leave here. Katsura, there is a man that comes in and out of this residence called Jinsuke. His family home is in Izushi in Tajima. His family runs Hirodoya, which is a pretty large shop there. I'm sure neither Aizu nor the Shinsengumi have any reach out there. What do you say to following the political situation in Izushi for a while? And so Kogoro leaves Kyoto and he goes to hide out in Izushi under the name Nibori Matsusuke. He goes to Kinosaki to take in the hot springs, and he lives in the back room of Jinsuke's family business Hirodoya and writes letters to Omura Masujiro in Choshu. He's like Urashima Taro living in the castle of Ryugu. This peaceful lifestyle continues on for 6 months as Kogoro slowly forgets about Kyoto and about Choshu. One day, Jinsuke's father says, Mr. Nibori, if you plan on being in Izushi for a while, might I suggest you take my daughter and open a store for yourself? Despite you being a samurai, you sure know how to use an abacus, and your handwriting is pretty easy to read. With times being as they are, remaining a commoner would be a better option than being a warrior, don't you think? Yes. Well, your daughter's name is Osumi, right? She is a really hard worker, but she's also the most beautiful in all of Izushi. Do I remain a commoner? I don't see why not. This is unexpected. Kogoro takes Jinsuke's younger sister Oosumi as his wife and opens Hiroea in the middle of Izushi. While getting used to the daily life of a commoner, Kogoro enjoys every single day he spends there. Matsusuke, we had a whole lot of customers come in today. Since we sold a lot, I'll give you an extra bottle of sake for tonight's dinner. Ooh, thank you, Oosumi. I really appreciate it. And so this wonderful time continues on for another 2 months until one day, Jinsuke, who was supposed to be in Kyoto, suddenly shows up at Hiroea. Mr. Katsura, what is all of this? You who inspired to unify the country. You've taken my sister as your wife. Do you plan to live the rest of your life here in Izushi? Right now, Choshu is in a lot of trouble. Lord Fukuhara Echigo, Lord Kunishi Shinano, and all the other ministers have been ordered to sacrifice themselves. Even your colleagues have been taken one by one, and now they're all gone. Yeah, but Izushi is just a nice place to be. How can you be so carefree? I've brought someone here who is very dear to you. When Jinsuke turns around, Kogoro is shocked. Ah, Omatsu! My dear Katsura. Thanks to dear Mr. Ooshima, I was able to escape to Shimonoseki. In these past 8 months, Choshu has been in real turmoil. The government broke into 2 factions, and civil wars broke out here and there. But then at the end of last year, Mr. Takasugi Shinsaku was able to unify the government again, but there's no one to lead them. They're all in a bit of trouble. Would you say that now is the time for you to return? Katsura Kogoro. His face turns serious. He goes into the back room a commoner and comes out a samurai. Thank you, Omatsu. Jinsuke. Katsura Kogoro will now return to Choshu. So, Kogoro returns to Choshu. His activities continue to be an interesting story, but sadly, I will leave that for another time. This was Izushi and Katsura Kogoro. Very special thanks go to Hiraoka Coffee, established in 1921 for providing coffee to Tenpachido Hall. Hiraoka Coffee, home of the 100-year coffee and donuts. On your way home, please visit the Tenpachido Hall Basement Cafe and buy coffee. Sign up for membership to the Kodan Performance VIP and see Kodan performances without advertisements and a week earlier than everyone else. We look forward to seeing you at the next performance.